Good morning, Mr. Posidis. My name is Steve Lacagnan, and I am the President and CEO of the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce. We are providing to each of the candidates for this City Council election an opportunity to provide a 2-minute opening statement to the public to describe yourself a little bit and your candidacy. And now is your time to do that, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to talk about my candidacy to people out there, so thank you. My name is Mark Brizaitis. I'm an English professor at WVU, and I have been for 17 years. I'm proud of the work I've done, the 2,000 plus students I've taught. I'm a former Peace Corps volunteer and technical trainer here in Morgantown. I also coach 4 girls basketball teams at North Elementary School. I co-direct a Learn to Skate program at our ice arena. I'm a founding member of the Appalachian Prison Book Project, which thus far has sent 17,000 books to imprisoned men and women in Appalachian states, 6 of them. And I also co-lead a book club and writing workshop in the Hazleton Prison Women's Facility. So I'm deeply involved in the community, and I'm proud of the work that I and other volunteers around town have done. I'm married. My wife Julie and I have 2 daughters, Annabelle and Rebecca, who are students at Morgantown High School. And I'm running for City Council because A, I love Morgantown, and of course we do. And I want us to remain a livable place. I want us to be a more accountable and civil place. And I want us to think about, and I have plans for long-term sustainability of our wonderful city.
Thank you. I will now go to the first question, which concerns the transportation bill, also known as House Bill 4009, which was passed by the West Virginia legislature in March of 2016. This transportation bill and the voters' approval of it here locally is a priority for the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce. What we want is for the voters to approve a 1% sales tax increase to improve roads and related infrastructure in Montague County. What, if anything, would you do to publicly promote and advocate for voter approval of the proposed sales tax increase for this purpose?
Sure, absolutely. First, let me say I am a fervent supporter of small and medium-sized businesses in our community. I grew up literally in a small business. My mother had a small business in her basement. She was a magazine publisher. I'm an English professor. You think, oh, she must have published a literary journal. In fact, it was for the collision repair industry. The magazine was called Hammer and Dolly. I love talking about those issues with the men and women in that field. We have great small businesses and medium-sized businesses around town that we need to support. And one of the ways we can do that is to literally walk in their doors and make relationships with them. Oftentimes we're on our computers ordering things. Well, guess what? You can go to Pinocchio's Books and Toys and order books that way, and they will get those books to you the next day in most cases. So we have fabulous and unheralded businesses in our town. I'm not a big fan of taxes. I'm not a big fan. I think there may be, and I'm open to conversation about any kind of plan that helps us, particularly our roads. I have a plan that would look at another way of raising revenue, which is to think about expanding our borders. Right now we're much too geographically small for the true size of our city. So let's talk about expanding our borders and bringing those businesses and people at our edges into our community to increase our revenue flow that way. That's one idea, to increase and handle that road issue. More revenue, better roads. We could look at hiring a city advocate to make it happen. To argue our case in Charleston, we need to have a better relationship down there. We could look at things such as grants that we would be available to pursue with a larger sized town with expansion of our borders. And I'm a grant writer. I've written thousands of dollars of successful grants. So there is a different way, a broader way, a better way, I think, than strictly promoting a regressive tax on that issue.
Thank you. The next question concerns the concept of an alliance housing the Morgantown Area Chamber of Commerce, Main Street Morgantown, Sunnyside Up, the Montague County Development Authority, the Morgantown Area Economic Partnership, and the Greater Morgantown Convention and Visitors Bureau, all under one roof in a central location in Morgantown. It is a priority of the Chamber. What will you do to publicly promote and advocate for this to become a reality, if anything?
I think I'm not entirely sure that's one of the missions of the city council, but let me say that I'm interested, I'm a unifier. I like to get people together who have big plans and want to do big things together that are worthwhile for the community. As a Peace Corps volunteer, I got a bunch of different people together in my job at WVU, running various programs. I've gotten a variety of people together to look at the bigger vision. So I'm happy to step in where it makes sense to step in and be that unifier, be that independent person. And I'm definitely running an independent campaign. Be that independent person who can be a unifier for good ideas that are presented to me. We need to have civility as part of that. We need to be open to those ideas and engage those ideas in a creative way, in a respectful way. And I'm all about big ideas. The secret of being a professor is you don't only teach, but you learn. So good ideas coming my way from any quarter, I'm willing to listen to, debate, look at, research, and move forward if I think those are good ideas. So count me as a unifier, count me as somebody who wants to get groups together and move forward together.
Thank you. Our next question concerns Metro government. What will you do to privately and publicly promote and advocate for the consolidation of local governments in Morgantown, Granville, Westover, and Star City into a single metro governmental entity?
Great. I think there is much to gain from economies of scale. I'm definitely interested in looking at what we can do together to make things less expensive for us, to combine when that makes sense. And I think I already have a plan in place that pushes toward that goal of being a larger community, that is to extend Morgantown's borders, to bring in those people on our borders, businesses on our borders, to be part of our community, to contribute to our revenue stream. So I'm already engaged in that activity with my plan. I think that's what we need to do, is to think about that plan, because we also, and not that I'm not interested in that idea, I'm very much interested in talking about that and researching it. We also should be concerned with the great people we employ in Morgantown, the police and the people who help run our government, our city workers, and we wouldn't want to leave them behind in any kind of grand scheme. But where economies of scale make sense, absolutely. But in terms of my idea of bringing more people in, that also gives people representation who aren't represented by city government when they really should be. They have the county commission out there, but they need a representative like me or someone on council to represent their true interests. So that makes it a more democratic idea. That's what I'm promoting.
Thank you. Will you publicly support the idea of using some of the money generated by Morgantown's user fee to improve state-owned roadways that happen to run through the city of Morgantown?
I think if the state is willing to give us those roads, and I believe in the power of local government, and I believe we know what's best for our community and our city, I think a negotiation could take place in which the state says it's yours, those roads are yours. I'd say, okay, if they're ours, then we can look at taking care of them. I think that's a negotiation we can have. That would be wonderful. Then we could look at how can we revitalize our downtown. Can we talk finally about maybe moving the trucks out in a win-win situation, maybe getting some pedestrian space back there in downtown. I've been hearing a lot from families who want downtown to be more family friendly. If we had control over that road downtown, we could fix it. We could fix all our roads, and we could make it more friendly. We could make it more dynamic for our great businesses downtown. So we need to negotiate that. We shouldn't just surrender to Charleston. They all already think we have a lot here. Well, we don't. We have the worst roads in the state, for example. And we don't need the worst roads in the state. We need to figure that out, and Charleston isn't helping us. We could help ourselves by having an advocate down in Charleston. We could help ourselves by having more control over our destiny here.
Thank you. Our final question. What ideas do you have to improve economic development and create economic activity centers within the city of Morgantown, since most of the economic development has occurred outside Morgantown city limits in the last 10 years?
Sure. I have big ideas and positive ideas and inclusive ideas that will move us all forward. And I'm hoping I can enact those ideas or help bring those ideas or bring them to the table so we can discuss them. Let's expand our boundaries to get the revenue we need. Let's think about the city advocate. Let's get someone to advocate our case in Charleston. Let's look at grants we can go after. I'm a grant writer. I'd like to go after every single grant we're eligible for. Why not? We're paying some of that in federal taxes. There's no reason that money shouldn't be coming back to our community. Let's go and grab them. Let's talk about a green belt around our community. If we purchase the Haymaker Forest in negotiations with the landowners, we could have a literal green belt, what the city of Cleveland calls the Emerald Necklace. And what a great way of promoting our community, or having in our community this incredible belt that would draw businesses, keep people here, keep families healthy, economically, spiritually, and also keep our young people interested in staying here. We need to encourage people to stay and help grow our economy and help contribute to our community. So a green belt. Another issue is our ice rink. I'm deeply involved in that, and it's a charming facility. We need a state-of-the-art facility. And a state-of-the-art facility with 2 sheets of ice, already our ice rink is the only revenue generator from Bow Park. But if we had a state-of-the-art facility, we could double, triple, quadruple that revenue, fund all our Bow Park programs, bring in minor league games from the Penguins, have hockey exhibitions and leagues that come in, contribute to our economy, maybe set up local businesses within the ice rink. These are ideas we can definitely enact, and we need to think boldly and broadly in a visionary fashion, and that's what I want to do. But you need a unifier, you need civility, you need someone with an independent voice and independent ideas. And that's me, Mark Brzaitis, and thank you all for being here and listening to what I have to say today. I appreciate your questions.
Thank you. We have one last opportunity for you to take 2 minutes to address the citizens of Morgantown concerning your candidacy, or any other thoughts or ideas you may have that you think are relevant to being a city council member.
Absolutely. So I'm Mark Brzaitis again, and I'm running for city council. And I'm a basketball coach, and I want Morgantown to play offense. I want us to think about the long term. I don't want us to be constantly running backwards and playing defense. So we need some big ideas for our community and our city. Ideas that pull us all forward together. These are ideas we talk about as a community. We decide they're good or they're great. We move on with them, and we all are together in our progress forward. So I'm all about playing offense, big ideas, moving us forward as a community. And I've already articulated some of those ideas. A green belt, improve our ice rink, let's go after grants, let's expand our borders, let's be civil. Let's talk about the greater good, which is our community. I don't care about personalities, I care about the greater good for our community. And I want to work together with anyone who has an idea to make that happen. So that's why, in part, that I'm running. I'm happy to be doing it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.